And
yes, sight is the experience in which duality is at its most persuasive. It's if we close our eyes, it's clear to us that this buzzing sound is taking place in the same place as our thoughts. It's clear that the tastes and smells but sights and textures, these are the two most. You put your hand on the table, and this sensation seems to be evidence of something outside consciousness. And then we open our eyes, and there seems to be even more evidence. So, and it's for this reason that I usually leave the exploration of sight towards the end of the week, because we kind of we go there slowly. But for the moment, let me say this. So now you're seeing what seems to be an object or a collection of objects that seem to be taking place outside consciousness. So at a certain distance, at varying distances from consciousness. So ask yourself first of all, is there any experience present in the sight of this room other than the experience of seeing? Another way of asking that was, if I were to remove the experience of seeing, what would remain of this room? Or what would remain of the sight of this room?
no sight. No sight.
Nothing would remain of it. So is there a difference between the sight of this room and the experience of seeing?
No.
Okay. Now, so let's leave behind the label, the sight of this room. Because in the sight of this room, we presume that there is a room outside consciousness that we are seeing. Now, go now just to the experience of seeing. That's all we know of this room, is the experience of seeing. Now, how far from consciousness is the experience of seeing taking place?
Nowhere. I mean, it's no distance.
No distance. No. Is there any part of seeing that is taking place at a distance from consciousness?
No.
Okay. So, and then go to the experience of seeing, and now go to your consciousness, or your knowing of the experience of seeing. Are they two different experiences? One, seeing. Two, your consciousness of seeing. Another way of asking the question, is there any substance present in seeing other than your consciousness of it?
No.
All that's there is the consciousness of it. The experience of seeing is made out of consciousness. It's not even the consciousness of it. Try to find the it that is separate from consciousness. The consciousness of something. Can you find the of something?
No, not now when we've been preparing during the meditations.
Seeing is itself a modulation of consciousness. Just like the image is a modulation of the screen. The screen has the ability to appear as something other than itself, such as a landscape. Now, consciousness has the ability to appear as something other than itself, a room. In order to do that, consciousness must take the form of the finite mind, in this case the form of seeing, which is an aspect of the mind. So in order to appear as or know something other than itself, in order to appear as something other than itself, or to know something other than itself, consciousness must cease knowing its own being as it is. It must rise in the form of the mind. In this case, it must rise in the form of seeing. And it is in the form of seeing that consciousness appears as the outside world. So the outside world is consciousness objectified by perception. But the stuff that perception is made of, in other words, the only stuff that is present in our experience of the world, is consciousness. And that understanding doesn't get rid of the appearance of three-dimensional space and distance and otherness. And just like your knowledge that the image is made out of a screen doesn't get rid of the landscape. It still looks like it's fields and rocks and mountains and sky. So it's not the illusion that disappears. It's the ignorance that disappears. Maya remains, ignorance goes. As the Zen master Huang Po said, people ignore the reality of the illusory world. When we hear the world is an illusion, it doesn't mean that the world is nothing. We all know that the world is, it's real. We're having, this is not a fake experience that each of us are having. This experience of the room or the world, it's a real experience. What is illusory about it is that it is made out of dead inert stuff called matter. This experience of the world, it has a reality to it. And if we explore, if we try to touch the stuff that the world is made of, we take one step, we find seeing, or mind. Seeing, hearing, touching, tasting and smelling. But if we go closer still, and we try to touch what seeing, hearing, touching, tasting and smelling are made of, we find only consciousness, and that is, consciousness finds only consciousness. So it is, consciousness is the reality of the world that seems to be made out of matter. So when you're walking in the afternoons here, or whatever, wherever you are in your room or wherever, don't feel that the appearance of the world is going to change. The appearance, this very ordinary appearance of objects in three-dimensional space, remains. But instead of labeling it a world or a room, just look at whatever you're looking at and realize it's all seeing. There's nothing there other than seeing. And then that's reducing matter to mind. And then having established it's all seeing, we take the next step. We reduce mind to pure consciousness. We realize that the only substance present in the experience of seeing is consciousness. In this way, we are merging experience in consciousness. I said sometime this morning or yesterday that the pre-egoic state is for consciousness to be merged in experience. In the post-egoic state, experience is merged in consciousness.
Okay, so that would be a meditation to make, to sit and look and make the step. Yeah. Yes. But start by, we may do this later in the week, start by establishing with your eyes closed that everything is inside of you and made of you. And then very slowly, we'll explore this, very slowly begin to open your eyes. And then if the world seems to jump outside, you close your eyes again, you establish again in your experience, all my experience takes place in me and is made of me. And then you keep opening your eyes and you transpose everything that you have discovered in your experience with your eyes closed. You transpose it to the situation with your eyes open. Thank you.